I stood there in the back of the conference room, my chest tightening, barely able to breathe. The project I had dedicated 6 relentless months to, the countless late nights, the breakthroughs at 3 a.m., was being presented by others. People who couldn't even explain the complex algorithms I had written were now claiming credit. Greg, our team lead, was beaming, talking about the project like it was all his work. But my name, not once mentioned. My name is Maya Collins. I'm 34 years old, and for years I believed that if you worked hard and delivered excellence, recognition would follow. That night, I learned just how wrong I was. At Nexus Solutions, I was the only woman in the senior engineering team, a distinction that made me both visible and a target. From day one, I knew I had to work twice as hard to be seen as half as capable. This project was different, though. It was our company's biggest contract ever, a $6 million deal to create an AI-driven logistics system that promised to revolutionize supply chain management. When the project landed, no one wanted it. Too complicated, impossible deadline. Greg casually tossed the responsibility at me during a meeting. Maya, see if you can untangle this mess. The message was clear. Better her than us. For 6 months, I buried myself in this project. I cancelled personal plans, missed family gatherings, and worked through a brutal flu that left me coughing up blood at my desk. Industry experts had declared some of the technical challenges impossible, but I refused to accept that. The breakthrough came one early morning at 2:17 a.m., when I finally cracked the algorithm that could reduce shipping costs by 40%. I called my sister, voice shaking with excitement, trying to explain the impact in simple terms. She didn't get the tech jargon, but she understood the relief and pride in my voice. "They'll have to recognize you now," she said. I wished she was right. 2 weeks before the presentation, things changed. Suddenly, meetings about the project were scheduled, meetings I wasn't invited to. Colleagues who had never touched the code started asking detailed technical questions, and then I found the slide deck prepared for the big pitch. 42 slides detailing the system, but not one mention of my name or contribution. The presenters, Greg, the business lead, and others. I confronted Greg, trying to stay calm. "This is an executive presentation. We need the best speakers," he said dismissively. "You're better behind the scenes." The presentation day arrived, and the client's CEO, Elena Park, was sharp and unrelenting. When she asked about a complex technical hurdle, how the system accounted for unpredictable weather disruptions, my team stumbled. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I stepped forward and explained how the algorithm used real-time meteorological data and predictive modeling to reroute shipments dynamically. The room went silent. Elena looked at me with genuine curiosity. "And you are?" she asked. Before I could answer, Greg jumped in, calling me just a developer who helped with some coding. Something inside me broke. I took a deep breath and said, "I designed the entire system architecture. The algorithm you're impressed with is based on my research and coding. I wrote every line of core code and solved the weather disruption challenge myself." The silence was overwhelming. Elena nodded slowly, clearly impressed. "Then you should be the one presenting this," she said pointedly, casting a meaningful glance at Greg. Greg scoffed and tried to dismiss my claim as exaggeration, but Elena wasn't having it. She insisted I walk the client through the technical documentation right then and there. For the next 40 minutes, I spoke confidently and clearly, guiding Elena and her team through the system's architecture, the design decisions, and the innovative solutions I'd developed. No interruptions, no questions I couldn't answer. When I finished, Elena thanked me sincerely and told me she wanted my signature on the contract as the lead architect. Greg's smug smile faded. I realized then that this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about fairness, accountability, and respect. I knew I had to stand my ground. The next day, I laid out my terms: formal recognition as lead architect, leadership over the implementation team, and a raise, still below what some male colleagues earned, but fair. Greg exploded in anger, accusing me of extortion. I calmly reminded him this was negotiation, and that without my signature, the client wouldn't proceed. He threatened to fire me. I smiled, feeling more powerful than ever. You haven't seen trouble yet, I told him. This is me claiming my rightful place. HR got involved. My requests were met with veiled hostility, but the client's demand was clear. They reluctantly agreed to most of my terms, though with some adjustments. I signed the new contract with mixed emotions: relief, pride, and exhaustion. I built my implementation team carefully, mentoring talented junior developers, especially women who had been overlooked. Weekly calls with Elena became my lifeline, spaces where my expertise was respected without question. A few weeks later, Elena invited me to coffee. She praised my work, but expressed concern about the toxic culture I faced daily. She offered me a leadership role in a new innovation division at her company, double my salary, equity, full authority. It was the opportunity I'd dreamed of but never received. I promised to finish the current project but knew this door was open. For the first time in years, I felt hope. The project launched successfully, and public recognition from Eleanor was a vindication. I resigned from Nexa shortly after. My departure sparked a wave of others leaving the toxic environment. I helped build a community of professionals supporting each other and seeking better workplaces. The company that once dismissed me lost clients and talent. Years later, I spoke at a major tech conference, inspiring others to stand up and claim their worth. After my talk, a young developer named Zoe approached me, her eyes filled with doubt and hope. She shared her story: ideas stolen, credit denied. I told her, "Your work is valuable. Your voice matters. Don't settle for less. Success isn't about revenge. It's about turning pain into purpose and paving the way for others." That's my story. Now, what's yours? Share it in the comments below, because your experience matters. And if you're feeling invisible where you are, know there is a way out.